How do you define home? I've moved cities all my life. I was born in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, moved to Beijing when I was like 3 months old. I grew up in Beijing for 14 years, and then I moved to the US when I was 14 for high school, initially to Boston. Then I took a gap year to study performing arts in Taiwan. And I come back to the US, but this time to California, and I stayed ever since. So as you can already tell, I've been moving between countries and cities throughout my life. I've been a transfer student at all stages of my education. For me, change is always there, and major changes happen pretty often for me. And for the longest time, I thought home was all about blending in, becoming the people and the culture in this new city. But the more I try to fit in, the more I feel like I've lost myself. Until recent years, where I've come to a realization of some of the key mindset shifts that really helped me feel grounded to where I am today. In this video, I want to share 5 lessons I've learned about finding home, not just where it is, but what it actually means. If you're on the same boat as I am, where you feel like what you call home is unstable, hopefully the lessons I've learned and I'm about to share here can help you both emotionally and mentally. I've come to the realization that home is not only a physical location. Throughout my life, to all the new cities, to all the new schools that I've transferred to, I've always tried to be this people pleaser because I wanted to find friends that I can blend into. And not gonna lie to you, I really did try hard, and sometimes I try too hard. And it's not always the best for me, especially in high school, where I really did try to blend into this group. Honestly, it didn't feel authentic to me, but me really trying to blend into that community, I pleased them, I pleased their feelings, and I did fit in. But at some point in my experience there, I felt like I was lost in the woods. I lost myself. I lost my sense of self-identity. Not only during high school, in college as well. Whenever I arrive at this new environment, I always try to identify the people that I want to hang out with, and I try to become one of them. And it turns out to not always be the best option for my mental health. It is not until 2018, I believe, where I discovered a huge music scene in Los Angeles. And I really fell in love with the music scene because music really did connect people from all backgrounds together. That was when I started to fall in love with music, and that has definitely helped me develop into this person that wanted to study and learn about music production and produce more music, because I felt like the community was welcoming. It did consist of people of all backgrounds. It gave me a sense of community and belonging. And discovering music had led me to my desire for producing music because I want to bring that feeling to others. So home doesn't have to be a place for me, it is music. It's where I finally stopped blending in and started belonging. Not saying that you have to find a community that's bonded by music. I'm just saying that home doesn't have to be a physical place or location. It can be anything or anywhere or any community that you feel like you belong and that you're being yourself. And if you're like me, you had to move many times. You have to change your living circumstances. You have to change your environment. A lot of the times you would feel like you had to start all over again, starting from zero. But what I come to realize is that starting over doesn't mean you're failing. It means that you're on the process and journey of building courage. Starting over is glamorous, it's messy, it's lonely, but if you view it from a different perspective, it is also where you can learn to be brave and build on your courage. So next time when you're moving or you have to switch your environment, tell your mind that moving can be exciting, even though it's messy and lonely and exhausting, but it means that you're welcoming something new into your life. And trust me, I don't have it all figured out yet. I still sometimes get anxiety when I have to start from zero or start over, but thinking like switching your mind and viewing this whole situation from a new perspective has greatly helped me adapt to the new environment. Now let's talk a little bit about belonging versus blending. These are very similar words, but they have really different meanings. So personal story here, I've always been this rebellious kid who doesn't care about grades. A lot of my teachers probably think that I am the problem of the class because I would not only skip class, I would sometimes escape my campus just to get lunch from across the street. I know, it's just like small rebellious stuff. I even had a tongue piercing at one point just to be rebellious without a goal, I feel like. Now, looking back at my past self with the lens of a psychology bachelor's degree from USC, I'm trying to find reasons to why I did those actions back in the day. I think it's because moving into a new school, to a new environment has caused me anxieties. It made me anxious, and having this really strong desire to blend into that environment, I started to be rebellious because I was seeking attention. First of all, don't follow that. If you're in the age of going to school, please don't follow that because that is not a good model to follow. But I think that was just me trying to get attention and to blend in. My way of blending into this school. Maybe because they were more rebellious kids in that school that I wanted to hang out with them, that I wanted to be cool too. But now as a young adult, after been through many life experiences and events, I come to a realization that blending in is different from belonging. Belonging comes when you're fully yourself. Don't try to blend in. Instead, be yourself and find your own belonging. Because blending is shrinking yourself and the other is finding your true self. So like if I were to do it all over again, the wisdom and advice I'd give to my younger self would be not do stupid things that gets you short-term attention, but in the long run makes you deviate from who you really are. Let's talk a little bit about the theme of crisis. What if you've experienced a crisis at some point in your life that is going to shook your confidence? Growing up, getting really personal here, I've experienced a major life event that shook my confidence and self-esteem. At the time, I didn't know how to deal with that. I did not know what that meant, and there was nobody there to guide me or to give me wisdom because growing up I've been moving to all these different kinds of cities where I didn't really develop any long-term friendship, and I didn't have a mentor that has seen me grow up, that can give me advice and that can guide me. So I was really by myself and I had to like swim in this chaos and trying to find my way. But after that crisis, I've learned to slowly but surely build my confidence piece by piece through routines, self-growth, and submitting myself to music. I think the most important thing here, if you experience something that you would consider as a crisis, try to think that it's not caused by you. Try to think it from a third-person perspective. If someone experiences crisis, you wouldn't want them to go downwards from that crisis. You would want them to grow out of that. It's the same for us. It's the same for you too. Like my advice would be to not get beat up by that crisis, but then look for ways to overcome it. Look for ways to go around it and not have it affect you negatively, because if you let the crisis affect you negatively, how is that going to benefit your future? You have to get out of there. You have to recognize that it happened for sure, but the subsequent actions you take, you have to be really conscious about getting yourself out of that situation, because you as an individual have your own life to live. Whatever that happens around you is really none of your business. It is really out of your self-control, and to live as an individual, try not to let those stuff that happens around you affect you. So after I hit my late 20s, I've slowly come to the realization that home is not only a specific address, it's not a physical place, but I have my own ways of defining what a home is. So here's what home means to me now. Home is having loved ones around. Home is having my own space to do what I love, making music and making YouTube videos. And home is a place where I can truly be myself without worrying about others, and being a part of a community that makes me feel safe. Looking at my life now from a third-person perspective, I think what home means to me is feeling grounded to where I am, feel comfortable in doing the stuff that I love. But home is different for everyone. I'm just sharing my personal experience of finding home, going through challenges, adapting to new environment, and finding home outside of my original home, if that makes sense. It's less about where you are and more about what gives you safety, joy, and freedom. Home doesn't necessarily have to be where you're from. Home is where you feel safe, where you can be yourself, and where you get to do what you love. So if you ever felt like you don't belong anywhere, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe it means you're in the process of building your own version of home. And I love to hear from you, your personal experience of what home means to you. And if you're also figuring out stability and passion, subscribe to my channel, because on this channel I share my life journey of becoming the best version of myself, from someone who used to struggle a lot in the past to my path right now in becoming the best version of myself. And I invite you to join me on this journey together. I am still on this journey to becoming my best self and achieve more of my personal goals. One of the most valuable habits that I've developed into my life is having a great morning routine. And if you're interested in learning about how a morning routine has helped me move faster towards my personal goals, I'll link the video right here. You can give it a look. And I'll see you then. Bye.